Watch. Now, did anybody catch it? Did anybody catch what I said?
Body language doesn't lie. And what you just witnessed during Indiana Fever's first day of training camp has become the most analyzed 17 seconds in WNBA history. That wasn't an accident. That wasn't a missed handshake. That was deliberate avoidance captured on camera. And it reveals a problem that could sabotage the Fever's entire championship run before it even starts.
What exactly happened in this 17-second clip? Now, let's fast forward here. So that's Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hall, and Aaliyah Boston walking towards everybody else, right? Now, there goes Sophie. Now, Raven Johnson immediately steps back and did not shake Sophie's hand. So it started with Sophie. She did not shake Sophie's hand. Here go Raven Johnson here, right? To the left, next to another coach.
Let's break down exactly what happened in that practice footage. Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hall, and Lexi Boston walked toward the group during a break. Standard team interaction, right? Except watch Raven Johnson's positioning. The moment she sees them approaching, she steps back. Not a casual step, a deliberate retreat. And it starts before Caitlin even gets close.
Or a player development coach. Now watch Caitlin. Oh. Look, now watch Caitlin. Now she shook Lexi Hall. Here go Lexi right here in front of Caitlin. Sophie Cunningham is in front of her, right? Caitlin is behind Lexi. Watch Caitlin stick her hand out. Watch Caitlin is slow. Look at Raven Johnson's hand. Look at her hand. She put her hand down and she ducked her head.
Now here's where it gets telling. Raven Johnson doesn't just avoid Caitlin Clark. She refuses to shake Sophie Cunningham's hand first. Sophie extends her hand, standard teammate greeting, and Raven completely ignores it, steps right past her. That's not nervousness. That's intentional disrespect to multiple teammates. And Sophie's facial reaction tells you she noticed exactly what just happened.
Sophie Cunningham. Watch Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham is right here in front of Lexi Hall. Watch Sophie Cunningham's face. Look, watch Sophie Cunningham. Look at how Sophie looks at Raven. Look at Sophie's face. Look at Sophie's face. There's drama in this locker room. Look at Sophie's face. She's toxic. Sophie's face says...
Pay attention to Sophie Cunningham's eyes in this moment. She's not looking at Caitlin. She's locked onto Raven Johnson with a look that screams, "What are you doing?" Sophie sees the whole thing unfold. She watches Raven refuse her handshake, then watches Raven duck away from Caitlin's extended hand. And her expression shifts from confusion to concern in about 2 seconds. That's a veteran player recognizing locker room poison on day one.
Sophie Cunningham was the only one who peeped it. She peeped it because not only did she not shake Caitlin Clark's hand, she did not shake Sophie Cunningham hand. And now look at how Sophie is watching Raven Johnson. Watch the eyes. Look at Raven. Look at Sophie. Now, Caitlin Clark disappears in the back because I'm pretty sure Caitlin Clark is stunned. Look at how Sophie's still looking at her.
The history between Raven Johnson and Caitlin Clark goes back to their college days. South Carolina versus Iowa. Dawn Staley's defensive system versus Caitlin's offensive dominance. Multiple tournament battles where emotions ran high and trash talk was constant. But here's the thing about professional basketball. You're supposed to leave college rivalries in college. The WNBA is a 32-game season with 12 teams. You can't carry grudges into training camp and expect to build championship chemistry.
What are you doing? Nobody caught it. Nobody caught it, but I bet you after practice, everybody talked about this. But I tell you who caught it, your boy John the Liquidator. Did anyone see what I saw? That ain't it. Good, maybe. Might say I'm looking too much. Yes, I synced it. Hold on. Because you're loser. Oh my God, the language. No, Caitlin, bro. Raven fans will be over this soon. No, Raven, bro, y'all tripping. Y'all got to look at this again. So if people try to say...
Notice what happened at the Fever's media day earlier that same day. Reporters were specifically instructed not to ask Caitlin Clark about Raven Johnson. Not suggestions, instructions. That's the Indiana front office already trying to control a narrative they know could explode. When media relations staff has to create question guardrails on day one of training camp, that tells you they're already worried about what might come out. They're not protecting the team's strategy. They're protecting against public acknowledgement of existing tension.
Guys, this is bad. And I have to say, a lot of you fans was right. And I must say, me seeing this one exchange right here lets me know that I'm not hyping up Raven no more. Because you can't even support Caitlin Clark with a simple high five in day one of training camp. Despite how you feel that happened when you was at, that's over with. We turn the page and we move on. Now it's time to...
Let's compare this to how other WNBA teams handle former college rivals joining forces. When Aaliyah Boston joined the Fever after battling against various players in college, there were handshakes, public statements about fresh starts, social media posts welcoming the new dynamic. Professional athletes understand the difference between competition and personal animosity. They understand that winning in the WNBA requires chemistry that transcends past matchups. What we're seeing with Raven Johnson is the opposite of that maturity.
Win championships, which means to tell me if you got an attitude like this, you don't need to be on this team. You do not need to be on this team, which means to tell me she need to go. Now, I told y'all, if it was anything that I seen that utterly let me know she's going to be a problem, she has to go. And this right here, my friends, this right here tells me Raven is going to be a big damn problem.
And here's what makes this particularly damaging for Indiana. The Fever just came off a season where they built incredible momentum around Caitlin Clark's rookie campaign. Attendance records shattered, television ratings tripled, merchandise sales went through the roof. The entire franchise's financial future is tied to maintaining that positive energy and keeping their star player happy and productive. Now they've added a player who can't even manage a handshake on day one. That's not a basketball decision. That's a chemistry disaster waiting to happen. The Fever's front office made this pick knowing the history. They drafted Raven Johnson with full awareness of the South Carolina-Iowa rivalry, the on-court battles, the competitive tension. So either they believed Raven was mature enough to move past it, or they thought the talent was worth the risk. Based on what we're seeing in this 17-second clip, they miscalculated badly. Think about what this means for practice dynamics. Basketball is a game of trust. You trust your teammate to set a screen. You trust them to make the right pass. You trust them to have your back when things get physical. How does Caitlin Clark trust a teammate who won't even shake her hand? How does Raven Johnson set aside her obvious animosity when the game gets competitive and emotions run high? This isn't about holding grudges. This is about whether these two players can function as teammates when winning requires sacrifice and communication. Sophie Cunningham's reaction in that footage is particularly significant because she's a veteran who's been in multiple locker rooms. She's seen team chemistry issues destroy talented rosters. Her face in that moment shows recognition. She knows what unchecked tension looks like, and she's seeing it manifest on the first day of camp. That's a red flag for coaching staff, for management, and for every other player trying to build something special in Indiana. The worst part? This is all happening publicly. That practice footage is out there. Fans are analyzing it frame by frame. Media members are asking questions the team doesn't want to answer. And Raven Johnson has now created a narrative around herself before playing a single professional game. Instead of being known as a defensive specialist from a championship program, she's becoming known as the player who couldn't shake Caitlin Clark's hand. That's a reputation problem that follows you. Compare this situation to how Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark handled their transition to the WNBA. College rivalry? Absolutely. LSU versus Iowa in the national championship with plenty of trash talk and tension. But when they got to the professional level, both players showed maturity. They competed hard on the court and showed respect off it. They understood that the WNBA is a business, and personal beefs don't help anyone's career. Raven Johnson is showing she either doesn't understand that or doesn't care. The Indiana Fever have a decision to make now. Do they address this publicly and risk making it a bigger story? Do they handle it internally and hope it doesn't leak again? Do they keep Raven on the roster and hope she matures quickly? Or do they cut their losses before this becomes a season-long distraction? Because make no mistake, if this tension persists, it will affect the team. It will create factions in the locker room. It will give opponents ammunition, and it will undermine everything the Fever are trying to build. What's particularly frustrating is that Raven Johnson has legitimate talent. She's a high-level defender with championship experience and a winning pedigree from South Carolina. The Fever could use those skills, but talent doesn't matter if you're destroying team chemistry. The WNBA is full of talented players who washed out because they couldn't be good teammates. The league is too small, and the rosters are too tight for anyone to survive on talent alone without the professionalism to match. So here's the question every Fever fan needs to ask. Is Raven Johnson's defensive ability worth the drama she's already creating? Because that 17-second clip isn't an isolated incident. It's a window into her mindset. It's evidence that she hasn't moved past the college rivalry. And if she can't shake Caitlin's hand on day one, what happens when the season gets stressful? What happens when they lose 3 straight and emotions are running high? What happens when Caitlin gets all the media attention and Raven feels overlooked? The Indiana Fever bet their chemistry on Raven Johnson's maturity. Day 1 of training camp suggests they bet wrong. Now the question is whether they'll address it quickly or let it fester. Because in professional sports, small problems ignored become big problems that destroy seasons. And right now, Raven Johnson looks like a problem the Fever can't afford.